Hey guys, so I am on day 13 of not smoking weed. Yeah, day 13. And I have a lot of kind of mixed feelings about it. But overall, I'm really glad that I haven't been smoking. Um, so I don't know about for you guys, some of you guys I know for New Year's resolutions, people like to quit and try new things. So for me, I'm just going to say, give you a little context about what I was and why I'm doing this. For me, it's really been because I've been waking and baking for a very long time, like straight up super long time. And waking and baking is just not the way that I want to spend the next 8 years of my life. And I'll tell you what it was that specifically made me want to stop. And number one, stop smoking because I, frankly, it was just, mm, I think I was getting lazier and I was becoming super antisocial. Now, some of you guys might be like, wait, but weed actually makes me feel a little bit like it helps with social anxiety. And I'm like, yeah. I think it does. It did for me initially. And I'm not, by the way, little caveat, like to all of this stuff that I'm saying, I'm talking about from a personal experience of why I'm making changes. I'm not telling you need to do things, but I'm just sharing a bit about my journey. So, first of all, yes, I do agree that in the beginning when I was smoking, I definitely did think that it helped ease some of that social anxiety at first. I was like, oh, yeah, it helps. I was definitely, feeling a bit more at ease to talk to people and just, I could be my silly self, kind of like a social lubricant. But um, after probably, I would say, it's kind of like this interesting thing because, you know, with any kind of dopamine hit, it's like you need to increase the threshold gets harder and harder, or the bar gets raised higher and higher to achieve that same level, right? And for me, I just wasn't getting that exact same experience of the silliness. And in fact, when I stopped smoking, I was becoming even more actually lazy. And let me tell you about what I mean by lazy. So, I'd smoke and then I'd get all comfy on my couch and I'd be like, yeah, I'm so comfortable. And then I'd be like, okay, so let's get some Uber Eats. Let's order some Uber Eats. And while we're at it, let's just get the Netflix. Like, let's just zoom in on the Netflix. And then I get a text message from a friend and they'd ask, hey, you want to go hang out? And I was just, because I'm high and I'm stoned, I would not put in the effort. I would think, why would I leave my couch? Why would I leave my couch if I could just Netflix and chill and get stoned? And why would I, do that? And if I could just curate my own dopamine trip. So this is exactly why I was like, no, like I was realizing that me smoking weed, I was getting I was just getting lazy. Like I was getting socially lazy. I wouldn't even leave the couch. And then I discovered, oh shit, like, wait, this is not good because I become a hermit. Like I was becoming a serious hermit where even my friends who were having like a dinner party literally like 100 meters away from me. I mean, not even that far, because like I live in this neighborhood, and dude, I wouldn't even leave my home to go do that. And I realized that, so I'm a wake and baker. Like I was waking and baking for, I don't know, God, I probably like 8 years straight. And I had, by the way, guys, this is not a judgment on anybody who's waking and baking. I'm just saying, like, I noticed what I was doing. And if any of you guys are also kind of in this, where, you're noticing interesting patterns from, your smoking or whatever, like feel free to drop in the comments. But I just noticed for me that I was becoming way too antisocial. Like I was getting so lazy to leave my house because I was just staying in my comfort zone. And then I realized like, oh, well, what else are the other things that are, that just make me want to stay in? Like I would just create videos. I would just I would just stick on like making art at home. I would be writing at home. I would be reading at home. Like everything I was just doing, I was like, oh, I don't really need to deal with like people. If I'm just like loving my own company, like Netflix and chill, read a book and chill, smoke, just hang out with my dog Taco. And yeah, so yeah, sometimes I'll wait till later after breakfast. Okay, guys. Yeah. And so I'm just sharing with you guys why, for all of those of you who just entered, I'm just sharing with you guys why I decided to stop smoking. It's day 13. And I don't know if any of you guys have done this where, you've stopped kind of like a habit, but I just decided to quit a habit of waking and baking after 8 years. Yeah, guys, what I know. Okay, Graceline, and I am seriously not telling you guys to do whatever, but I'm just telling you why I stopped. Like I just realized, because the really weird thing is, I know they say that weed is supposed to make you less anxious, or it helps with that, or it helps with depression. And yeah, I've had chronic depression and anxiety for a really long time. And yeah, I did use weed to manage it, but the more and more I needed to use it even more and more, I just actually noticed how much I was withdrawing from human beings and my day-to-day living all the time. Anybody can relate to that? Oh my God, visionary, aka visionary, good. Stopped in October. I stopped 13 days ago, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to figure out things to do, which is why I'm doing my makeup. Guys, I even cut bangs because I just don't even know what to do with my hands. Like that's that's what day 13 is. And I haven't been doing gummies. No, I haven't been doing edibles because I've just been like, I need to stop. For me, I just need to stop a little bit of this dopamine chase, right? So the other reason why I stopped is that I sort of noticed that everything was becoming blah. Like everything. Like nothing could get me. Like right now I'm pretty animated, but that's probably because before I couldn't even I really couldn't even get excited about anything. Like I would go to a really nice restaurant and I would smoke and I'd be like, "Wait, I shouldn't I have the munchies? Shouldn't food taste amazing?" And the food wasn't even tasting amazing. So I think there was just like everything was just not interesting. Like nothing could get me excited, or nothing was interesting, and I felt like I was getting so much apathy. I don't know if any of you guys can do it. Yeah, I totally cut cold turkey, Kenturgian, like cold turkey. I'm not even vaping, and it's just to see like, okay, what happens when I am not doing, like when I'm not seeking the THC slash CBD kind of like dopamine rush shit. And I genuinely just stopped because I was sort of getting to this point where I'm like, I don't think I really like life. Like, I think it's like just feeling like life is so effing boring. I don't know if any of you guys have been in that. And yeah, so Tip Top, working on the Nasty Six. Yeah, I was smoking spliffs. And by the way, it was getting like, it was so to the point where I would wake and bake before I even brushed my teeth. I was rolling in the morning. That's where I was at, guys. And I think that brings me to the third point of why I wanted to stop, is the fact that it's not a really good self-esteem. It's not really, I don't think it's good psychologically, feeling like, oh shit, I can't even stop myself from this behavior. Like, I can't even stop myself from this behavior. It's so compulsive that I need to smoke before I brush my teeth. Like, that just didn't feel good to me, that I didn't have an ounce of self-control. And so that's when I was just like, no, I need to stop. I need to get this a little bit more under control and wraps. Don't want to get weed on your teeth after brushing teeth. I know, Cantor. Yeah, but that's the funny part. I would then, after I brushed my teeth, of course, then I'd smoke and then I'd have breakfast, and it's obvious. And then with my coffee, like, guys, all of this shit. So I'm on day 13, and honestly, I am noticing a number of things. So I can tell you like a couple of things. Yeah, so visionary, this is exactly what I want to talk to you about, is what I am experiencing on day 13. So a couple things that I'm noticing. First of all, I'm dreaming again. Yes. And I don't know about you guys, but I actually like dreaming. For me, I used to keep a dream journal, and thanks, Tip Top. Yeah, I'm like day 13. So I used to love dreaming, and then I noticed like for the longest time I didn't have dreams, and also my sleep was really shit for a long time. And I know weed is great to help you sort of relax and get into sleeping, but I think contrary, like after some point, it actually n- I don't know if this is scientifically proven, but I think there's like a shallowness to the depth of sleeping with weed. So I'm not a scientist or anything, but I feel like since I've quit for the last 13 days, I have had seriously deep sleep. Like sleep that I didn't even know I could have. So that's actually pretty incredible. And I will say though, I do have there are bouts like the first 3 days I had insomnia. So I would be waking up like at 3 a.m. I would be waking up at 5 a.m. and all this. And in between, it was like really tough. But I think like starting like day 5, and then I noticed like, day like 10, man, I was getting some Z's that were so good. Like, yes, I was like, yeah, I can sleep. I feel great. I would wake up and I would wake up at a normal hour. I couldn't believe it. By the way, for those of you guys, yeah, visionary, if you have any questions, RMing is super hot. Yeah, Drew, I only dream when I'm on substances. Oh, fascinating. Okay. Yeah, but for me, I was just discovering like, whoa, wait, sleep. It's actually better quality. And that made me super happy. Um, and the other thing besides just like the better sleep, going into that is I was actually waking up at some decent hours. So with weed, I would every time I woke up, I just felt like I had a massive hangover. Like not like a weed over. Not hangover as in alcohol hangover, cuz those are pretty gnarly, but I'm talking about a weed over where it just was like a little hazy. Hence why I would wake and bake, and I'd be like, "Oh, let me just wake and bake so that this haze can become less of haziness and just like more pointed." And I'm also noticing, damn, I'm starting to feel all the feels. Like there's a range of emotions that, good or bad, I'm feeling now. Like I was mentioning to you guys before that I just felt really numbed out. Like everything was just blah. And now, yes, like there are moments where I just catch myself and I see a flower, and yeah, no joke, guys, the other day I saw a flower and I smelt it, and I was just like, I I started to get a little teary-eyed for no reason, but I was actually pretty happy that I could feel something again. And I don't know, yeah, yeah, I don't know if that's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a good or a bad thing, but just the fact that I was feeling something, felt I was feeling so much better about that, because I was starting to get worried that maybe I was becoming like this anti-social slash anti empathetic, like, I just thought, maybe was I becoming a robot? And just contextually, for those of you who just came in the room, I was waking and baking for 8 years straight. Like, seriously, wake and bake. And I just stopped 13 days ago. So um and when I stopped, the other thing that I'm noticing after 2 days is, or actually 2 weeks, so it's day 13. What I'm also noticing is just having these sort of like this weirdness, but like I used to feel like I had like this tightness up here, and then tightness in my also like my belly. And now I don't feel like it's so tight here. And I don't know if that's psychological or what have you, but I am noticing that I'm just not as like tight. And I know that sounds counterintuitive because weed is supposed to make you definitely relaxed. Yes, but I think after a certain point, there's just anything, too much of anything. Like too much of anything is just like, it's gonna do some kind of sensory overload. Yes, actually, Cancer Adrian. Okay, so that is actually legit. Okay, I was getting a shit ton of coughing, and I started to sound like a chain smoker of like 50 years. Okay, you know the one, and so maybe it is related to that lung thing, and I just felt a lot less. Yeah, it's just like there's something that felt freer. And speaking of coughing, guys, I noticed that so in the past, I would cough up like a little bit of phlegm. And since I've quit smoking, I am not coughing up phlegm as much, but the color of the phlegm when I do, this might be TMI, guys, but the color of it, it's actually a little brown. And I'm like, shit, is that shit? That shit's been inside of me. And that's been accumulating for the last 8 years because I be smoking, I be waking and baking, like, oh shit. And so, yeah, that's another revelation that's kind of happening because I have been, 13 days not smoking. The other little adjustment thing. By the way, Fala, no, I'm not from Japan. My family, I'm actually was born and raised in San Diego, but my family is from Korea, and now I live in Lisbon. So there you go. There's that. I think the other interesting thing that's been happening for me in terms of like the whole weed thing is because I was smoking spliffs because I was smoking spliffs. And you guys, for those of you who know spliffs, it's marijuana and tobacco. So I think it's also like I'm quitting two drugs because it's the nicotine, tobacco obviously, and the cannabis. So um I was like basically quitting both, and I think I'm also getting the withdrawal from the nicotine part. My appetite is actually starting to come back. Like I went to dinner last night and I had this food, and counterintuitive to like most people who do smoke weed, you get the munchies, right? So food shouldn't be like this thing that appetite is great. But I think because I was smoking spliffs with the nicotine in there, like my appetite was just gone. And yesterday I ate food, and I was like, whoa, this tastes so good. And guys, this was not like a five-star restaurant. Even like the smash burger I ordered the other day, I was like, oh shit, this shit actually tastes a little better. I was like, wow. So I am noticing just even in these 2 weeks, like, oh, food is starting to taste a little bit better. Um, yeah, and Greedo, yes, I will. This isn't a one-off. No, I do. I used to do tarot readings, but yeah, now I'm gonna keep doing this. Yeah. And Fala, South Korea. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, my parents are from South Korea. My family actually was from Seoul and then moved to the US in like the 1970s, so kind of old school. But yeah, okay. So the other thing that I'm noticing is I actually, guys, have like more energy. It's weird. So I want to break that down for you because nicotine is a stimulant. So I was rolling spliffs. FYI, for those of you guys who are just joining, I was rolling spliffs. So I'm kind of going through nicotine withdrawal and cannabis withdrawal. So it's both. But like nicotine is supposed to be a stimulant, and I know that does usually keep people wired. But I think because was also smoking cannabis, right? Like at the same time, it's just like, okay, I'm also getting chilled out. But I'm noticing that I have a different kind of energy. It's the kind of energy where I'm just a little bit more motivated to put my tennis shoes on. So I don't know if any of you guys, but I was a wake and baker that actually did go running. Like I ran a couple of, I ran a marathon and a half marathon. Like I still ran, even when I was waking and baking. But so I wasn't completely like one of those couch potatoes, but I, now that I've stopped and I'm training for another race, I feel more energy and I'm actually really surprised because I'm not one of those hardcore, runners who says, "Oh yeah, you can't run." Like I'm like, "Okay, do you, boo. Do you." But I noticed that I did have a bit more capacity to just run and etc. Um yeah, so I don't know. Any of you guys have, I don't know if any of you guys have quit smoking. I'd love to hear what your journey has been like. I, I've actually, this isn't my first time trying to quit, by the way. So last year, the longest I went was, the longest I've went was like, let me think. I think it was 40 days. And now I'm doing, this is my kind of second time and I think we'll see what happens. We'll see like if I want to just keep on doing this. But I do think I want this one to be a bit more long term. I'm not gonna say I'm never gonna touch weed again. I'm not saying that I'm never gonna do this again, but I will say this, that I just think that I need a serious reset and I will continue to share with you guys what it's like doing, being off weed and tell you what my journey is like. And thank you for watching. And if any of you guys are considering quitting smoking, whether it's, weed or tobacco, I'm totally here with you. No judgment to, by the way, guys, if you still smoke and all that stuff, like no judgment to you because I don't think there's like a right way or a wrong way with all of this stuff. So just continue to do you. I just wanted to share my journey just in case it's at all helpful. And I will see you guys again tomorrow, same time. Peace out. Have a great day.